again. His herm's about to kill another beat. It's bona fide until I die. Rocking with an army fleet MCs. Rapping nowadays really ain't that hard to beat. I'm the shit like Cartman's cheeks. You're just trash garbage heap. There's a little part of me that doesn't wanna put him down. Arguing with artistry, I'm bringing heat every round. I know that I gotta win. Had to perfect the sound flow cold like a...
Alright, so this is going to be kind of a weird one because I wasn't sure how to record this one, but I'm going to try doing it a voiceover. And I figured I can probably talk for 20 minutes about the RX7, so this is just going to be a complete, sped up build of basically every video I've done on this project. So yeah, I got the car back in July 20th of 2019, right before COVID, and I was also just about getting ready to move to Texas, so it takes me a long time because some of the times where I'm working on it, I'm actually flying back and working on it during the weekend only, but I did what I could. So this is the first walk around video. As you can see, it's fucking dirty. I guess the car was sitting in Tucson for a couple months, and then the owner brought it back down to Phoenix in Arizona, and that's when I found it on OfferUp for. I actually got the car for after negotiating for $8,000. So yeah, that's why it's all dirty. I believe that little box, it might have been a little rat house because there was a rat or a mice in it. Mouse. So here I took the dash out. I'm starting to clean up everything because the car is stupid dirty. So I'm gonna gut everything. I think I'm gonna lay down some insulation and then clean it with some, basic degreaser shit, and yeah, go from there slowly. These first couple videos were filmed. All the videos are filmed on an iPhone, my spare iPhone. But the first couple videos I edited on some free app on the App Store, and then from there later on I ended up getting a Final Cut Pro, which I know my editing still sucks, but I'm really just posting these videos just for fun. I'm not really looking to become a professional editor or anything. I mean, if it happens, it happens, I guess, but for now I'm just doing this for fun. Everything's really kind of just free. I just record, grab the camera and record what I'm gonna do and thinking at that moment. So yeah, there's nothing to it. Like here, I'm cleaning up all the little leftover fuzz. I'm gonna degrease the whole car with that degreaser right there. Clean it all up before I put the interior back in. Let's see. That's the one thing that helped me with these videos too, was I could go back and check how to put shit back together because I have a bad memory. So that helped a lot. Just recording videos and kind of saying to myself, all right, I can just go back and look at them again. So here it is all cleaned up, I think. I think I'm getting ready to put everything back together. I think I ran the wiring for the battery, which, by the way, I did end up going to a 0 gauge, and I did not run that circuit breaker or that splitter that I'm about to show. And you don't need none of that stuff that I'm relocating because I went aftermarket ECU. So that's another thing too. While I'm doing this voiceover, I can show you guys what I ended up changing later on, so you guys don't have to. But I doubt anyone's gonna watch 20 minutes of this. But like I said, I just do this for fun. I deleted the ABS. I think right now I'm gonna clean the blower motor and shit. Clean it all up, get it ready to go back in because it's all really dirty. And yeah, this FD was kind of one of my favorite projects to work on because it's the one I took my most time on. Like even putting that little new Velcro shit, I never did that with my 240, but I should have and I didn't. But the 240 just kind of wanted to do it quick. The FD was dream car, so I did take a little more time on it. Ended up getting this shit from Amazon, which is it's okay. It flans out a lot, so it's not the best, but it works. It's easy to cut, it's easy to lay down. It just maybe overlap it. Maybe here's a carpet. think I'm gonna wash it, and then I think I was using that brush wheel to get rid of all that little leftover fuzz because it smelled funny. And here I am laying the shit down in the exact way the OEM one was laid out. Um, so there's that, and oh yeah, I got parts from this. I came across this guy. Um, what's his name? I think I'm gonna post it up right now. Yeah, Dan Watson, RX7 breaker. I think he's from another side of the country, the world, like the opposite side where they have mostly right-hand drive cars. But this guy parts out FDs like crazy, I guess. So um, he actually asked me if I needed any parts, and I did because some of them are universal between left-hand drive and right-hand drive. So yeah, there's that. I think he got me that latch because the latch cable was broken on it, so I couldn't open the door. And then that's the guide for the window because the window was smashed in by the previous owner, so they can open the door. That's why all the glass was there in the beginning. So I think right now I got the glass, I got some other parts, I installed all that. I think I've done an ABS delete or remove the ABS by now. I think right now I'm getting ready to pull the motor out because I did get it rebuilt by a local here in Phoenix, Arizona. There's the exhaust, my bolts probably for bell housing bolts that I'm talking to myself about for future reference. Um, yeah, like I said, that really helped me because I actually went back a lot to my videos just to find out how shit went back together. Oh yeah, and that clutch setup on the FDs, that shit's crazy. It's a like to separate it, it's weird. Not like a usual typical car, I guess, but it's a little funky, so it took me a while. But here's the motor out. Um, got it all chained up, pulled it out. I think I painted this bracket so it doesn't rust. That's for the window guide, so the glass goes up and down pretty easily. Here I am disassembling the motor, and this is the part where it really helped me because if I hadn't taken this video, I would have not known how to put the shit back together. This is the first rotary I have fucked with. I have not messed with one or torn apart one or even driven one. Actually, I had driven one, but this is the first one I've had owned and torn apart like this. So here's the engine bay all mostly stripped down. I think I end up taking a couple more shit out of it. Let's see. Yeah, interior is mostly back in, as you guys can see. Um, it looked pretty nice. Like I was really getting excited at this point because it was really starting to feel mine. Um, and I really, really love this car. Um, yeah, like I said, this video is specifically for, uh, I guess, current me. Back then it was future me. I was talking to myself, being like, okay, this shit goes first. This bracket goes here. That bracket goes there. These bolts are for here. And like I said, I ended up coming back to the video just so I can remember how to put this shit back together. There's a block off plate there for I think the stock oil lubrication pump, whatever they call it. Um, that's for I believe the oil filter housing. And yeah, these motors are pretty simple actually. The way you once you go back together with them, the way they come like you can get them to run on very minimal components, I guess. This is me just assembling the latch. It ended up breaking. You can get metal ones online, or you can look up how to do the pivot mod. I guess the way the handle pivots on that long latch, it ends up putting too much stress and ends up breaking it. But I guess you can put a little stopper so it doesn't pivot as hard and they don't break as easily. So I think on this one I'm just doing the metal ones, and I did the pivot one too because I think it was just better to do it now and then not worry about it later. See, I don't think they were that expensive anyway. I think they were like 20, 30 bucks, I think. So like I said, this is where I was gonna put the circuit breaker on, but I didn't end up going with it. I ended up taking it off later. That's the optimal battery I'm gonna run, which I've had good luck with, and it's working fine. I didn't run that or that. Um, um, Basic battery relocation stuff. Ended up putting behind the cubbies. The cubbies were already messed up by the previous owner, or not the previous owner, but I think the rat just ate through some of it. So I didn't mind cutting it up so it sits in the back passenger cubby. See that hole in the bottom? That's where the rat. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna just finish cutting it up. So I cut up all that to make room for the battery. There it is, located up. Um, let's see. Yeah, this is the interior. Yeah, turned it on. Everything seems to be working. Like I said, those things I relocated, you don't have to. I didn't even need them. Here's a tray for it. I think it was after I tested to make sure everything worked, all the lights worked and everything. Made a custom bracket, I guess, just to keep it from moving around. Um, I do want to get better terminals currently, but yeah. So I got some parts from Atkins. By now, I think I drove back from Texas, and my buddy finished painting the bay, and the motor was back in it. So I got parts back. Got a compressor. I think I polished those intake manifolds while I was in Texas. Um, and right now I'm just putting everything back together. He also sold me his single turbo kit, which I think I just sprayed right now with that heat resistant paint. Um, it's okay. I like it, but it's really old school, so it looks it just looks old. But later on might upgrade. Um, but yeah, some clearance issues. I think I ended up just bending some lines a little bit because I am going to run AC, and the AC line is right next to it. Oh, that's a coolant line that I ended up smashing in a little bit to clear the turbo. Some bolts and shit that I had because I probably needed something for probably the compressor bracket right now. Power steering is on, intake manifolds halfway on, filters on. Coolant lines, that one was kind of a pain. One of them's a little tricky. Just look up a video. They're kind of easy to disconnect once you figure out how to, but if you just go in there and raw dog it, you might potentially break it. So then you risk that. Right here, I think I'm just pointing on some random shit. I think basically saying I got this shit done, that shit done. Running spark plugs. Ended up running all leading, I believe, currently. But right now I'm putting the stock, so it's leading and trailing spark plugs because they are different. Here I came back, I guess, from Texas. Yeah, because the car was all the way inside my parents' garage, so all the way inside. So I came back from Texas on a quick, probably 3-day weekend or something. I think this is where I'd start deciding to tackling the uh, intercooler stuff, and I got more parts, I guess, from Atkins. Well, that's a cool thing because every time I was in Texas, I would order parts, and I would come back to my parents' house, and it would just be like uh, Christmas for a weekend. Um, so headlight covers, probably some other random shit I got. Atkins really came. They have a lot of shit in stock, so that was cool. I also had another guy from a dealership that also hooked it up a couple times, but I forgot his name. But you can go back and creep the other videos, and you can probably find it because I did mention him. I think right now I just got the ECU from my buddies. Oh, I got the ABS line kit, ABS delete kit with some fittings. That was from some shop in California. I forgot their name. The same one that helped. What's his name? Mikey's RX7 from Throttle. That that shop gave me those lines, sold them to me. My coolant sensor was broken, so I ended up getting a different one. Here I am explaining how to do the ABS delete, which the lines are great, they fit great, but they are a little too long, but they work perfectly fine. Um, and they look really nice. So yeah, no more ABS. Probably didn't even work anyways to begin with. But yeah, lines work great. Good kit. Very easy to install. This is the one that was too long from the master to the passenger side. So I was trying to figure out something else, maybe how to route it so there's a little loop. Here's a intake back on, elbow, Grady elbow back on, intercooler mounted up with some custom brackets once again, made by yours truly. Here I am planning piping, um, and I do have some piping laying around, so I believe I played some Tetris game trying to match everything up so it works. Um, that's the pulley for the delete on the, I believe, the oil pump. Custom brackets getting painted, like L brackets to mount up to that frame and then hold up the intercooler. And I haven't had any cooling issues with it, so I mean this works. But then again, I'm not really driving this car super hard anyway, so probably just the bare minimum for it to not blow up. Um, but it does not overheat like this. I don't normally do like a V setup, but this, I mean, it works. Here's a intercooler piping I'm getting done, some couplers, which I ended up doing that thing in one piece, so it's only 2 couplers per side. Um, and those are the coolant lines that I need to delete or just weld shut later on, because you don't need them technically, so people just cut them off and weld them, but I didn't have time for that, and I don't know how to weld aluminum. Um, so I'm gonna do them later, probably take it off later, cut them off, and have someone just weld them shut. Gas tank is cleaned up, which later on I realized I did not clean it well enough because it ended up clogging up the filter one day and took out the pump, which ended up popping my fuse, and it was kind of took me um, for a little trip because they would left me stranded one day. So new pump was in and now it works fine, but I guess I didn't clean it well enough the first time around. Piping's all in right now. I'm gonna set up the coils with the ECU. It has a sensor for the map built into it, so I need to run a vacuum hose for that. These are LS coils, I believe, with a harness. So I'm gonna mount those up, I believe, driver's side top from the get-go, and that's where I ended up leaving them. I think I tried putting them on top of the motor, like underneath the manifold, but it looks better on the side. So here I am figuring out the wiring for this shit because this is my first time wiring up a car, and I did not know what I was doing. So I ended up Googling the harness, and I found everything I needed to get everything sorted out. Here's everything labeled. At first, I just kind of like spider web it all over the place, and I think right here is my custom fuse box with relays, and I think I am about to start this car, so I left the audio in for the first startup, so you guys can hear it and see it smoke out the neighborhood. So yeah, I think I'm about to start it any minute now. For the first time, checking my wiring, make sure everything's good. I think my fuel pressure was off the first time I tried it. So, no, what actually happened was I pinched some wire in between the two sections of intake manifold, and it ended up popping some shit. So I had to replace some fuses and then go back and try it again. I think that's what really ended up happening here. I think I mentioned that. Oh, there it is. And the car's about to start right now. Alright, so I guess the car started up. Hopefully the audio didn't cut off or overlap. If anything, I'll go back and fix it. So here it is. The car been, I think at this point the car's been running and driving for a couple of weeks now. At least a couple of weeks that I came down to Arizona and was driving it around, and it drove fine. I think I put some MB battles on it, put the hood on it. I found a hood on probably offer up a marketplace wherever. And then I got tired of the look, so I always wanted a JDM bumper, so I went with a JDM bumper. And you do have to transfer over all your old brackets from your OEM one. So here it is with the OEM bumper. I got the turn signals, the MB battles are on, a little side skirts on, origin, and yeah, I think this time I am getting some wheels for it. Oh, I got some wheels for it, and I'm about to show you guys that. My brother got some wheels for his car too, so we all ended up getting wheels on a weekend. Here I am adjusting the fitment. I think they're Wed Serbs Type 2s. I think I ended up going a little bit lower, a little bit of camber in, and then I think I settled on the height later on. But I ended up putting like a tiny ass spacer in the front just to get that fitment good. And yeah, I think from here on out, it's just gonna be just showing the FD in its final stage before paint. And currently the car is painted, it's done. You can see the thumbnail. I'll post a picture in the thumbnail. I already did accidentally almost drive it off a cliff, but the car is fine. Here's me putting a kind of shield to protect this shit. License plates always come clutch. But yeah, here is I'm debating between spacers here, another shield cover up, and these have saved me so much on my 240, these license plates. But here it is, all fitted up. Fitment's looking aight. I believe this is gonna be it.
I'm living and I'm feeling great. I know I got you hooked on fishing, fixing up a dinner plate, coming with your dominance. Now it's just Herms. If you know, then you know I've always had a way with words. Writing verses is a destiny. Others say a curse. If I'm spitting, that's a warning. I'm confident when at work. I'm coming with your dominance. Now it's just Herms. If you know, then you know I've always had a way with words. Writing verses is a destiny. Others say a curse. If I'm spitting, that's a warning.